In case of elastic collision, relative velocity of approach, we have proved relative velocity of equal to relative velocity of separation. Very important topic we are doing today. Usually one MCQ is fixed. In fact, this Newton's law of motion में से total 4 MCQs they ask in the exam in NEET and 2 to 3 MCQs in JEE. Relative velocity of approach u1 minus u2, we have proved it is relative velocity of separation v2 minus v1. Case 1, last class we have proved till this. Case 1, final velocity v1. That means I want formula for final velocity v1 in terms of mass m1, m2, initial velocity u1. ये चार मालूम रहता है. Initial mass of two bodies, initial velocity. टकराने का बाद का concept we have to find. So one we got relative velocity of approach is separation. Now I have to find what is final velocity v1. So since u1 minus u2 is v2 minus v1 and I want v1, that means v2 I should eliminate. So u1 minus u2 plus v1 equals to v2. So wherever you see v2, you can write u1 minus u2 plus v1. v2 I don't want, so I have to eliminate. Last class I derived till this relative velocity of approach is equals to separation in case of elastic collision. Now we are telling case 1 final velocity v1 ka formula, how we can obtain. So last class wala approach is separation, we want v1, so v2 I am trying to eliminate. Since m1 u1 minus v1 is m2 v2 minus u2, this is formula of that law of conservation of momentum. I do again see separately. m1 u1 plus m2 v2 is m1 v1 plus m2 v2 by law of conservation of momentum. So this two term when you take together, it will be m1 u1 minus v1 will be m2 v2 minus u2. So that formula I wrote directly. Now I am interested in v1, which should be in terms of m1, m2, u1, u2. So wherever I see v2, I have to try to remove it. v2 is u1 minus u2 plus v1 from last lecture's derivation. Now I'm just substituting and collecting in proper format. See. Don't write it, just look first. m1 u1 minus v1, v1 I want, equals to m2. What is v2? v2 is this. It is u1 minus u2 plus v1 minus u2. Therefore we get m1 u1 minus m1 v1 equals to m2 u1 minus 2 u2 plus v1. So m1 u1 minus m1 v1 equals to m2 u1 minus 2 times m2 u2 plus m2 v1. Now all one wala term we have to collect v1 wala term together. This is v1, this is v1 because we are interested in v1. So m1 u1 minus m2 u1 plus 2 times m2 u2 equals to m1 v1 plus m2 v1. So u1 into m1 minus m2 plus 2 times m2 q2 equals to v1 in bracket m1 plus m. Okay, just copy till this because space is not there. Copy till this. From here you have to start. Case 1, final velocity v1.
Hello, sir.
Yes?
Sir, that before final velocity, what you have written?
Nothing. That I told last lecture we have derived this. Relative velocity of approach
Okay.
equal to relative velocity of separation.
Yes. Yes. Okay, sir.
Don't write this, I told you. You have to start from. This was last we had derived. Last. Now our derivation is in continuation. Huh? Slowly write, understand and write. थोड़ा बड़ा बड़ा thumbs है. After this chapter, physics will become easy for you. This is slightly bigger chapter. If you complete, tell her.
So, wait.
Done, sir.
थोड़ा लेफ्ट साइड खाली नंबर का. We are interested in only v1. So dividing throughout by m1 plus m2, we get u1 into m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2. 2 times m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2 equals to v1. Therefore, v1 equals to u1 m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2 plus 2 times m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. So velocity v1 equal to u1 m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2 plus 2 times m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. 4-5 times you write in rough, then you will remember. See v1, so start wala u1 आया, but second term is m2 u2. Similarly, if you apply logic, V2 will come U2. U2. Here you will get M2 minus M1 plus 2 times M1 U1. Denominator will remain same. We'll check later. Okay, just complete this. V1 equal to U1, M1 minus M2 upon M1 plus M2 plus twice M2 M2 upon M1 plus M2. Completed?
Yes, sir.
Answer.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll see how to get V2. See, nothing you remember in the exam, always start with law of conservation of momentum for any collision. And if you remember formula, directly formula I will use. So case 2, it is to find final velocity V2 this time. So again, since U1 minus U2 is V2 minus V1, we want to remove V1 now. So V1 equals to V2 minus U1 plus U2. Let this be, in this case, equation 1. Since M1, U1 minus V1 equals to M2, V2 minus U2. This we have proved in law of conservation. ये continuation में चालू है. So M1 U1 minus V1. That means इसका सबका sign change होगा ना? Are you getting me? If I take minus V1 rest, all will sign change or not?
Yes, sir.
So it
Yes,
is
sir.
minus
Yes, sir.
V2 plus U1 minus U2. Any doubt? What I did? Any doubt? Minus V1 is minus V2 plus U1 minus U2. Okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So M2 into V2 minus U2. M1 to U1 minus V2 minus U2 is equals to M2 V2 minus U2. Just copy it in this. Done? So I
Sir,
hope
just a minute.
no problem. 2 times M1 Q1 I have written here minus M1 V2 minus M1 U2 M2 V2 minus M2 U2.
Yes, sir, done.
Now V2 wala term I will collect together so that V2 can be separated out. So we can write 2 times m1 u1 minus m1 u2 plus m2 u2 equals to m2 v2 plus m1 v2. Therefore 2 times m1 u1 plus u2 into m2 minus m1 equals to v2 m1 plus m2, dividing throughout by m1 plus m2, we get 2 times m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2 plus u2 m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2 equals to v2. So finally we can say therefore v2 equals to u2 into m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2 plus 2 times m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2. Any doubt? So it is a simple algebraic you are adjusting, appears to be lengthy.
Done, sir.
Okay. So we got v2 equals to u2 m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2 plus twice m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2. I'm just writing v1 v2 formula again. Therefore v1. Avan, help me. What you got v1 as? Either u1 आया ना?
Yes, sir. U1 m1 minus m2
Very good. Plus 2 times
plus 2 times m2 u2
divided by both
divided by
denominator.
m1 plus m2 plus m1
बराबर.
plus m2.
अभी v2 क्या आया फिर? u2
So v2 is equals to u2 m2
हाँ
minus m1
हाँ
plus 2 m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2 m1 plus m2.
okay m1 plus m2. This is what we derived. Now if m1 is same as m2, then see what will happen. Then v1 will become u1 into m1 is same as m2, so this will be 0 upon 2 times m1 plus 2 m2 u2 upon 2 times m2. Correct?
Yes.
So this 2m2 2m2 cancel. So can I say v1 is u2? v1 is u2 and v2 will become u2, again both are equal means 0 upon 2 times m2 plus 2 times m1 u1 upon 2 times m1, ये cancel. So v2 equals to u1, meaning see, this was traveling with u1, body whose mass was m1, and this was u2. This is v1, this is v2. Mass is same, then v2 became u1 and u2 became v1. मतलब exchange offer हो गया ना? फर्स्ट वाले का
Yes,
वेलोसिटी
sir.
सेकंड को मिला, सेकंड वाले का वेलोसिटी फर्स्ट को मिला. So these are the things which you have to remember in this chapter. So I can write one word. When masses are same, then in case of elastic collision, velocity gets exchanged. मतलब u1 will become second वाले का velocity after collision, यानी कि v2, and u2 will become first वाले का velocity, यानी कि v1. Please copy this much again. From start, I'm going very slow. Don't take tension. First, I just put V1, V2 formula once again to recollect or refresh my mind. Then if M1 equal to M2,
Sir, can we write that statement?
no, first complete, then I'm dictating the statement.
Okay, sir.
Complete it. Everybody, let everybody
Yes,
complete.
sir.
Can I clear this everything from board first?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
अभी statement लिखें. Thus, in case of elastic collision, if masses of two bodies are same, very important, masses of two bodies are same, then velocities after collision gets exchanged. That is, u1 will become v2 and u2 will become v1. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Done.
This is one body, speed u1, mass capital M. This is u2, mass small m. अभी देखो क्या होएगा, if capital M is very very large than small m, then very small than small m. चलो, Pranjali, tell formula for V1 after collision.
U1
Hmm?
in bracket M1 minus M2
Very good.
plus 2 M2 U2
And divide by M1 plus M2. No?
M1 M2.
बराबर. Current, current बोला.
Yes, sir.
This small M1
Yes, sir.
is nothing but what? Capital M. No?
Yes, sir.
And this M2 is small m, no?
Yes, sir.
So if capital M is very very large, then उसमें से छोटा minus क्या तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता है ना? So it will become
Yes, sir.
just M because small m is neglected. And while adding, this is only capital M, small m is neglected.
Yes, sir.
Plus इधर क्या होगा? 2 times the small m neglected.
0.
Uh,
2 times. Sir, if we neglect it, do we take it as 0 or do we
Chalo,
just neglect?
we'll take small m because it is only that na? Into u2.
Yes, sir.
So this will become like capital M. Na? So this will get cancelled. mm. If I take say, so V1 will become U1 plus 2 times small m upon capital M, small m upon capital M. This is almost zero, है ना?
Yes, sir.
Almost zero मतलब almost negligible, cancel हो गया ना, denominator बहुत ज्यादा है. So this I can almost cancel. So what you got? V1 का velocity V1 ये ना, कुछ ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ा उसको ना. मतलब क्या है? ये सपोज एक छोटा सा बाइसाइकिल है, इधर बहुत बड़ा ट्रक आया, ट्रक इससे टकराया, तो ट्रक को ज्यादा कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, ऐसे ही आगे चला गया ना विद सेम वेलोसिटी u1 के जितना. हेलो,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
मतलब पीछे वाला बॉडी बहुत हैवी है, इससे टकराया तो ज्यादा कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, आगे चला गया. अभी देखते सेकंड वाले को क्या फर्क पड़ेगा. देन विल जस्ट राइट नोट इन वर्ड्स. सेकंड वाला मतलब v2. Any doubt? Then please ask me. ये entrance level वाला चीज बता रहा हूँ.
Sir, we can take a 0 also.
Whom we will take 0?
Sir, at M2.
No, we have कुछ तो है. मास्टर 0 रहेगा तो एकदम 0.1, 0.2 ऐसा है. You can think me.
हाँ, समझा.
अभी V2 देखते हैं क्या आएगा. मतलब मुझे अभी एक कंक्लूजन क्या मिला, अगर पीछे वाला गाड़ी का मास बहुत ज्यादा, तो वो आगे वाले गाड़ी से उसका कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, टकराया लेकिन वो अपनी स्पीड से ही जा रहा है, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा. तो मैंने एग्जांपल बोला, एक साइकिल वाला आगे आया, पीछे ट्रक वाला स्पीड में आके आगे चला जाएगा, वो थोड़ी साइकिल वाले के लिए बॉदर होएगा, तो उसको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, आगे चलते हैं. अभी साइकिल वाले को क्या होएगा देखते हैं. साइकिल वाले का स्पीड तो u2 था, ये मेरे लिए साइकिल है, ये ट्रक है, टकराने के बाद देखते हैं उसका क्या हालत होने वाला है. v2 equals to u2 m2 minus m1 plus 2 times m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2 upon m1 plus m2. Okay, now m2 is like 0, ये m ये 2 times ये 0 मतलब खाली m, ऑलमोस्ट 0 ले लिया अभी मैं, तो अंडरस्टैंड. तो ये m1 कैपिटल M, u1 is u1 upon m1 plus m2. This is only m. So this is v2 equals to, एक m cancel, minus u2 plus twice of u1. हेलो,
Yes, sir.
क्या आया सेकंड वाले का स्पीड. पिछला वाले ने इतना धक्का मारा कि डबल हो गया, मतलब अगर ये साइकिल का स्पीड 10 था, इसका स्पीड 50, तो ये 60 minus 10 मतलब डबल से थोड़ा कम हो गया ना. नहीं समझ में आया कॉन्सेप्ट. पीछे वाला हेवियर मास था, ये आया आगे वाले से टकराया, टकरा के क्या कर दिया उसको, ऑलमोस्ट अपना स्पीड का डबल का धक्का दे दिया ना उसको.
हाँ सर.
तो ये मिल गया ना अपने को 2 times u1 बराबर, और उसका u2 ऑलमोस्ट आई टुक कैंसल, क्योंकि साइकिल का स्पीड क्या रहेगा 30 40 का 30 भी लिया तो क्या, तो कहने से ये उसको पुश कर देगा ना आगे.
Yes sir.
ये कॉन्सेप्ट समझ रहे हैं आपको. So if there's a theoretical question, if the backside vehicle is very large than the front वाला, तो फ्रंट वाले को क्या होगा, अगर फ्रंट वाला रेस्ट पे रहता तो डबल के धक्के से आगे चला जाएगा. फिर से देखो.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, ये साइकिल समझ रहा है. साइकिल सपोज वो रेस्ट पे है, ये ट्रक आया, तो ट्रक वाले का अपना स्पीड से इसको चपाती बना के आगे जाने वाला है ना, और इसको क्या हो गया, डबल धक्का लगा, डबल स्पीड से आगे आया. क्लियर, मीनिंग क्लियर.
Yes, sir.
हाँ सर.
फिर से मैं वर्ड बोलता हूँ, जिसको भी डाउट है प्लीज स्टॉप मी एंड देन आस्क अगेन. इफ द body colliding body is of very large mass, then when it collides with body at rest it moves in a straight line ahead with same speed, but the smaller body gets pushed by double this. Okay,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अभी पीछे वाले का स्पीड छोटा है तो क्या होने वाला है, मतलब साइकिल अगर ट्रक से टकराए तो क्या, साइकिल का स्पीड u1, ट्रक रेस्ट पे है, जिसका मास है कैपिटल है, कैपिटल M, वेरी वेरी स्मॉल देन स्मॉल m. अभी क्या होएगा देखिए, v1 is u1 into m1 minus m2 plus 2 times m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2 m1 plus m2 अपना फॉर्मूला. So v1 equals to u1, ये m1 small m almost 0, m2 capital M, ये capital M, plus 2 times m2 capital M, it is at rest, small m 0, m2 capital M. So we get v1 equals to, ये minus m cancel, minus u1 plus 0. तो चलो समझ गया आपको ये क्या आया आंसर. तो इससे टकरा के रिबाउंड हो गया ना विथ v1, मतलब v1 इज माइनस u1, u1 अगर राइट जा रहा था तो ये टकरा के पीछे आया ना उसको विद सेम स्पीड.
Yes, sir.
मतलब सब अब क्या हैव द फील, एक ट्रक है, साइकिल वाला टकरा है तो टकरा के पीछे ही आएगा ना सेम स्पीड.
हाँ sir.
Yes,
तो
sir.
स्पीड पीछे आ गया. अभी ट्रक को क्या हुआ देखते हैं, उसका स्पीड v2 इक्वल्स, आपको क्या लगता है हिलेगा जगह से,
No.
मतलब वो जीरो पे
sir.
रहना चाहिए ना
No, sir.
स्पीड. चेक करते हैं, अभी जीरो आ रहा है. So this is v2 equals to u2 into m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2 plus 2 times m1 u1 upon m1 plus m2. So v2 u2 is at rest, तो ये पूरा टर्म जीरो हो गया. 2 times m1 is m, almost negligible, मतलब जीरो के जितना है, तो सभी जीरो हो गया, मतलब ये ऑलमोस्ट रेस्ट पे है. आपको दोनों कॉन्सेप्ट समझ गया?
Yes, sir.
So I'm just
Yes,
repeating.
sir.
See, when heavier body collides with very very lighter body, then it moves almost with the same speed, and lighter body acquires double the speed. But when lighter body collides with heavier body, it comes back with same velocity, and heavier body still remains at rest. Okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अभी नोट लिखते हैं वो वर्ड में. When very very heavier body collides with very very lighter body, then heavier body moves with same speed in same direction, and lighter bodies acquires twice the speed. What's twice the speed? If lighter means I'm telling very lighter, almost zero, collides with heavier, then heavier remains at rest and lighter moves in opposite direction with same speed. Lighter acquires same speed but in opposite direction. Chalo, can I rub this part?
Wait, sorry.
Sometimes theoretical question if they ask, then keep in mind. आप दिमाग में साइकिल ट्रक ले लेना, अपने आप समझ जाएगा. ट्रक वाला टकराया, उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ा, साइकिल को डबल द स्पीड से आगे फेंक दिया. और साइकिल टकराया तो ट्रक उधर का उधर है, साइकिल खुद पीछे आ गया. Yes, can I clear this?
Sir,
Yes.
I have a doubt.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
हाँ बोलो.
Sir, when the heavier body hits the lighter body, the lighter body gets the twice the speed of the heavier body, no?
नहीं. Twice the speed of heavier. Correct.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Correct.
Okay, sir.
अभी देखो आपको ये जो मैं लिखा है कोई भी बुक में नहीं मिलेगा, जस्ट एक्सपीरियंस से दिया है. एक बार फिर क्वेश्चन पूछा था जेई में. नाउ show that in case of inelastic, I am writing, not elastic. What I have written heading? Inelastic. So that in case of inelastic collision, initial kinetic energy is always greater than final kinetic energy. Initial kinetic energy is always greater than final. That means if initial is 10, final may be 8. So दोनों का difference will be 0 or not equal to 0.
Not equal to 0.
That means can I say initial kinetic minus final kinetic? If I get greater than 0, then I can say initial is greater than final.
Yes, sir.
If I get initial minus final 0, then initial is same as final.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just trying to find difference between initial and final kinetic energy, whether it comes greater than, equal to 0 or less than 0. Depending upon that, I can say initial is greater than final or equal to final or less than final. Heading right up, then I'm clearing this entire thing. Heading can I rub? Everything?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have to check whenever bodies colliding, if collision is inelastic, initial kinetic energy is greater than final. Inelastic मतलब suppose एक ट्रक जा रहा है आगे और मैंने ऐसा वैक्स का लंप लिया उसको फेंका तो ट्रक के साथ चिपक के आगे गया ना, that is called inelastic, separate नहीं हुआ. So consider two bodies A, B having masses m1, m2, moving with initial velocity u1, u2 along same straight line such that u1 is greater than u2. Hence the two bodies will collide. Let the two bodies after collision move with common velocity v. मतलब एक साथ चिपक के जा रहा है, common velocity. Clear? Meaning clear?
Yes, sir.
चलो इतना डायग्राम बना.
Done, sir.
Other side also done?
Yes, sir.
Right. Consider two bodies. Consider two bodies. A and B having masses m1, m2 moving with velocities u1, u2 on same straight line such that u1 greater than u2. Hence, the two bodies will collide and move with hence the two bodies collide and move with common velocity v and move with common velocity v. Move with common velocity. Now can I clear this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clear कर दो चलेगा?
हाँ, sir.
हाँ सर.
By law of conservation of momentum, initial momentum into final moment. So m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is m1v plus m2v because both are moving with common velocity. So we can say m1 u1 plus m2 v2 equals to m1 plus m2 into v. So v becomes m1 u1 plus m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. That means in case of elastic we had v1 v2 alag speed. Here same speed which is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. Copy it in first equation. So for inelastic collision, final velocity is same, which is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2.
Done, sir.
Okay. Others have also done.
Yes, sir.
Is m1
Yes,
u1
sir.
plus m2. Okay. We have to check that initial kinetic energy is greater than final kinetic energy. Initial kinetic energy minus final kinetic energy. This is half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square minus half of both masses are together moving with velocity of v. So half m1 plus m2 into v square. That means half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square minus half m1 plus m2. V is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. So half of m1 u1 square plus m2 u2 square minus half m1 plus m2 m1 u1 plus m2 u2 the whole square upon m1 plus m2 square. Cancel one m1 plus m2. Write this much. Tirtha followed? Yes, Tirtha, following?
Yes, sir.
Say, don't be afraid of length of that equation. It is actually simple equation only. So many things are there. So terms are increasing. Please practice today itself.
Done.
Okay. Mohit? Mohit?
Done, sir.
Okay. Mohit is there or not? Mohit, you are there? मोहित गायब हो जाता लगता है तो हेलो हाँ मोहित there any network issue but hello hello Mohit is there any network issue अच्छा अच्छा ओके ओके ठीक है बस if it is possible join it, otherwise I will send the recording, but please join if possible. Okay fine no problem, no problem. Anay
Yes, sir.
what will be LCM of 2 2 2 and m1 plus m2?
So 2m1 plus m2.
Correct. So LCM is 2m1 plus m2. First term m1 plus m2 is missing, so I'm writing in numerator. So m1 u1 square m1 plus m2. Second term also that m1 plus m2 is missing from denominator. So m1 plus m2 I can write. Third term 2 and m1 plus m2 both are there. So only m1 u1 plus m2 u2 the whole square will come. Please copy this last line. Then I'm clearing on and simplifying. Not at all difficult, but yes, lengthy. So initial minus
Done,
final.
sir.
Yeah, I wrote initial kinetic energy half m1 u1 square in plus half m2 u2 square. Finally, both are together, moving with same velocity v. So half m1 m2 v square. V का formula we got m1 u1 plus m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2 the whole square. Then numerator square, denominator square I separated. One m1 plus m2 cancel. M1 plus m2, 2 2 2 का LCM is twice m1 plus m2, and then I just do this.
सर वहाँ पे माइनस आना चाहिए.
इधर minus. Everybody has written till this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I am not clearing all, otherwise will not be able to answer me after expansion. I am expanding the numerator, and whichever terms are equal and opposite I am cancelling. This equals to first term m1 is m1 square u1 square plus m1 m2 u1 square. Next wala m1 m2 u2 square plus m2 square u2 square minus of m1 square u1 square plus 2 times m1 m2 u1 u2 plus m2 square u2 square upon twice of m1 plus m2. Okay, this one more step copy.
Sir, in numerator, what is the last?
Last bracket is m1 square u1 square twice m1 m2 u1 u2 plus m2 square u2 square. Like इसका a plus b the whole square क्या है? m1 u1 का square is m square, m1 u1 square, m2 square u2 square plus middle term twice m1 m2 u1 u2. Okay.
Then
Now two more lines are left out. m1 u1 square plus m1 m2 u1 square plus m1 m2 u2 square plus m2 u2 m2 square u2 square minus m1 square u1 square minus 2 m1 m2 u1 u2 minus m2 square u2 square upon 2 times m1 plus m2. This plus minus cancel. This is plus minus cancel. Copy this term. Okay, done.
Yes, sir.
The last line done.
Yes, sir.
So below this line, can you write like this? m1 m2 u1 minus u2 the whole square upon twice m1 plus m1 into m2 is positive or negative? Masses का product is positive or negative?
Positive, sir.
Positive. 2 into 3, 4. 5. Square of anything?
Positive, sir.
Positive.
Positive.
Sum of two mass positive?
Positive, sir.
Positive.
मतलब ये पूरा न्यूमरेटर अपॉन डिनोमिनेटर पॉजिटिव है ना?
Yes.
That means
Yes,
it's
sir.
greater than C. Am I clear? Full?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So finally you got like this. Initial kinetic energy minus final kinetic energy greater than 0. That means initial kinetic energy is greater than final kinetic energy. Hence proof that in case of inelastic collision, initial kinetic energy is greater than final kinetic. Copy 2 line.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
अभी वो काइनेमेटिक्स का एक 5 सम और कर लेता हूं. Just try to take 5-10 minutes of yours. Last class we have completed till 110.
120.
120. Now 121 to 125, any doubt? One 121 to
No, sir.
125, no doubt, huh?
No, sir.
No, sir.
126 to 130. One 126 to 130.
126.
126. Okay. उसके बाद
127, sir.
127. उसका बाद तो ये 130 एम्पीयर, 120 128 आया।
हाँ सर।
So I'm just explaining 126, 127, then till 130 we have done. 126. देखो I am giving you many sums so that इससे ही practice होएगा, कुछ और बुक लेने का जरूरत नहीं है। A scooterist sees a bus 1 kilometer ahead of him moving with velocity of 10 meter per second. एक स्कूटर वाला है, उसने एक बस को देखा at 1 kilometer away from 1 kilometer away. Bus is traveling with the speed of 10 meter per second. With what speed scooterist should move so as to overtake the bus in 100 seconds? What should be his speed so that he can overtake the bus in 100 seconds? चलो करण, मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ, करण, हेलो,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
what do you mean by overtake?
Or the speed increases.
Overtake मतलब पीछे वाला इसका आगे चला गया.
Yes, sir.
So that means behind one has reached up to bus, then only he can overtake. Na?
Yes, sir.
So when he is moving, bus will also move. So suppose this is bus, and after some time, this is scooter. Now it is about to overtake or not? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Vaibhav?
Yes, sir.
Suppose this bus has covered X meter in some time t, when scooter has overtaken. So in same time t, the scooter will cover how much distance? 1000 plus X meter or not in same time t?
Yes.
मतलब जैसे इसने इसको देखा, सपोज 12 बज गया दोनों का घड़ी, 1 बजे दोनों एक दूसरे को मिलते हैं, तो ये भी 1 घंटा ट्रेवल किया, ये भी 1 घंटा ट्रेवल किया, इसने कम डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल किया, इसने ज्यादा ट्रेवल किया. क्लियर इतना मीनिंग?
Yes sir.
करण गोयल, यू हैव फॉलोड दिस मीनिंग?
Yes, sir.
अभी क्या सेम है इसमें? टाइम सेम है ना? व्हाट इज फार्मूला फॉर स्पीड? डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम.
Distance upon time.
सो व्हाट इज फार्मूला फॉर टाइम?
Distance upon speed.
ओके, तो बस का स्पीड, डिस्टेंस है x, स्पीड है 10, t ऑफ बस. t ऑफ स्कूटर का डिस्टेंस कितना है? 100 प्लस x अपॉन स्पीड u. कितना समझा मीनिंग आपको?
Yes, sir.
चलो इतना छोटा सा ऐसा डायग्राम बना के इतना लिखो. वी वांट बस का स्पीड कितना हो गया? हेलो, हाँ सर, यस यस, हाँ बोले ना, नंबर होगा शायद, नंबर होगा, पूछ देखते, आपको 2 मिनट में देता हूँ नंबर का, 2 मिनट में देखते. हेलो, रिटर्न.
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
रिटर्न. हेलो, रिटर्न ना.
Yes sir.
They are telling the scooter overtakes the bus in how many seconds? 100 सेकंड बोला है
100 सेकंड.
हाँ, तो t of bus and t of this ये कितना है 100 सेकंड है. हेलो
Yes, sir.
so from here I can write 100 equal to x upon 10. Therefore, x equals to 1000. Then from second, 100 equals to 100 plus 1000 upon u. So this is 100 u equals to
Sir, it's 1000 plus x.
where?
So वहाँ पे ऊपर हाँ.
1000 plus x. So this will become 2000 upon u. 2000 हो गया ना सर. 2 0 कैंसिल हो गए. u equals to 20. हेलो हेलो
So
Yes,
20
sir.
meter per
Yes, sir.
second.
20 meter per second. So that's all for today. Next sum I will do in next picture.
Yes, sir.
खाई नहीं करता हूँ. So please practice everything. Whatever we have practiced today, write 2 times. Don't read. Write it. Then you'll understand best.
Sir, that dimensions का आपने लिखने बोला था, तो सर वो dimension का part से करना है ना MCUs.
हाँ, dimension का
MCUs of measurements dimension से करना है. तो sections both